Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November public meeting of ANC3F. I'm very happy to see everyone. Um, I would like to call the meeting to order without objection, seeing that we have a quorum of Commissioner Bear, Commissioner Iglesias, Commissioner Guzman, Commissioner Rothman, and myself. It appears that Commissioner David is not here unless I am missing her. Let's get started. If we could, I'd like to, without objection, adopt the November agenda.
So
Without
moved.
objection, so moved. Okay. And then let's just go straight into Lieutenant Forrest, who we just appreciate you so much as you are almost always the first person to enter our meeting waiting room. And we like our little pre-chat with you. Thanks so much for being here, Lieutenant.
You are very welcome. Good evening, everyone. Our stats from what I sent to you guys in the last week is just a slight difference. We had one motor vehicle theft from three in the 3000 block of Tilden Street, and that we had, and this data that I'm giving is within the last 30 days. Except from autos, we had two, one from the 5100 block of 33rd Street, and the other one from the 3300 block of Ross Place. And then we do have our theft from autos, which we have 34 for the past 30 days. We're actually, it seems like a high number, but we're actually down 21%. So that's all the stats that we had for the past 30 days. Everything else, we have nothing. We had no homicide, no sex abuse, no ADWs, no robberies or burglaries for this time period for the past 30 days. But what I would like to address today is so just for people to be aware of scammers, especially around this time. Sometimes what we're seeing, excuse me, what we're seeing that people are calling your homes or your cell phones pretending to be from a government agency or from the police department. And what you're seeing on your caller ID is the actual number of like the second district, but it's not us. We will never call and ask for money. We will never call and ask for Apple cards. We will never ask for anything, like that over the phone. So even though you do see the number, if you call us, like if you call the number back, you're not going to get the person that's trying to scam you. You'll actually get the second district. So if you call that number back, you'll actually see that okay, it's not us. So if you feel as though something is a little bit suspicious, please don't give your information. Please do not send money. Just call us back just to confirm because I guarantee you it's not us. And another thing that I wanted to talk about is the like buying stuff online. I would recommend that if you're buying stuff online from people who you do not know, I would suggest that you go to a safe zone. All the police departments are safe zones, so you could have a an exchange without worrying about somebody that's going to take advantage or rob you. And also, if you're not going to be in town, if you're not at home, you can also utilize the Amazon lockers at all the districts. And that's all I have for today. Anybody have any questions for me?
I have a question. If
Sure.
so, if somebody, I think that's very good advice on the scamming because I've heard a lot about it too. Um,
hmm
if you, it's great advice to always hang up from someone who's asking you for personal information and then call that person back.
hmm
When these days when we're calling MPD for something like that, do we use 311, 727, 3000? What's the number, best number that someone
So
should use?
So if somebody's calling you from that number, just call back that same the number that you know. Say for instance, they're saying, "Okay, I'm calling you from the second district." Just call back the second district because that way you'll get exactly who they're claiming that they're calling from, and then that way you'll realize in real time that okay, this person is not in the station.
Um, Yeah, but what's the best number to call?
So depending on where they're calling from, because say for instance they're calling from the second district, then I would call the second district's number. If they're claiming that they're calling from the FBI, I'll call the FBI number. If they claim they're calling from the Secret Service, just whatever number that they're calling from, because we have so many different districts that they could say that they're calling from, so many different places, agencies that they could say that they're calling from. Just call back that number that not the number that you know. You could Google the actual number and call back that direct number, and then you know.
Okay. All right. There's a question in the chat about the armed robbery on Sunday in the 3000 block of Van Ness Street, which I did not hear you mention, and it was another that was on my list as well. So could you please address that and then also let us know why that's not, it
Uh,
didn't, you didn't hear.
yes. So what happened with that? Unfortunately, after the detective investigated, the individual that made the claim was not forthcoming. He actually, for lack of a better term, lied. So he claimed, I have it right here. The individual claimed that he was held at gunpoint. So what happened, just to give you a brief synopsis of what happened, they were making some kind of a transaction over the phone. So the individual, I guess, sent a cash app of $1,000 to the individual prior to the day that they met. So when they met, they went, I believe, in the business area of 3003 Van Ness and they did a contract. So they did a contract, and then after they finished signing whatever contract they had, the individual give the suspect the rest of the money. And for what reason they went over to the I believe it's a liquor store, and from the liquor store, the suspect left, and then the victim did not know where the suspect went. So once the individual called the police, he made up the story about being held at gunpoint and all that other stuff. So after the detective looked at the video based on where he was saying the things ha the incident happened, they realized that he was not forthcoming. So they re-interviewed him and asked him the reason why he made up that story. He said he was embarrassed because he was scammed. So that's why that was changed. So it was actually a theft, not a robbery.
And so just to, I guess, indirectly answer the question that is in chat, um, it was not, in fact, an armed robber. It was
Mm.
just
A
the,
theft.
I guess, yeah. So there was nobody kind of with a weapon or a gun fleeing,
No,
right?
no, no, no.
Thank you.
So, right.
Perfect.
Does anyone have any other questions? I know that as I'm looking at your report,
Hmm.
it just sort of like the what we just heard
Hmm.
with what the community had seen and heard at 3000 Van Ness.
Right.
Um, what the numbers I'm seeing from you don't reflect, I think, how it feels to be in our neighborhood right now. With the number of calls we see
Hmm.
at police presence we see along Connecticut
Hmm.
at the various apartment buildings. Marilyn Lance is here, and she and I testified at the
Hmm.
Housing Roundtable about this very issue. So could you
Right.
speak to that a little bit?
Sure.
Like we're not, so what I want to do is feel like when we're getting a report that says, oh, well, there's not really that much going on. And
Right.
then everyone who lives in our
Hmm.
neighborhood is like, well, actually, no.
Okay, just to address that, every call that we get sometimes is not what it is. So say for instance we get a call for a say, for instance, we get a call for a domestic and a weapon scene, right? And once you go on the scene after further investigation, because once the call goes in through the call taker, then it goes to the dispatcher, then it comes to the officer. So once the officer get on scene and after they investigate and they realize the true nature of the call, it's either if say for instance it's a domestic, it's either turns into a family disturbance. It could be just someone arguing, and that's what it is. And they sometimes people fib a little bit for the police to get there a little quicker. And so after investigations, then we realize that it's not the initial thing that we were called for. Or say, for instance, we hear that a weapon was mentioned, whatever, you're going to see a lot of officers come in force until they realize, okay, this is not what it is. It's better to go in numbers just to make sure. And then if it's not what it is, then everybody goes go back about their business. So sometimes
I
you,
really appreciate that. And then that's
yeah.
very complicated for you guys. And I know how hard that must be. I guess what I'm just trying to push on
Hmm.
a little bit
Right.
is the actual lived experience of
Hmm.
people in buildings on Connecticut. So not like, oh, it's, some, there was a, you know, and thank you for always responding
Hmm.
as you do. But I guess the what I'm talking about less than, it was sort of a false alarm is the lived experience of people who are saying there is a lot of trouble in these buildings.
Hmm.
They see it, they hear it, they, you know, and this isn't your first meeting with us. So like we've
Of course
all
not.
seen it and heard it. So
Of
I
course.
guess what I'm trying to dig into is that.
Right. So the thing about it is we get a lot of different calls. We get a lot of different calls. Some of these calls are mental health consumers. So sometimes you see a lot of force, a lot of police officers going towards a building or whatever. Someone could be making noise, knocking the walls. A lot of times these calls are people that we FD12, which is that means they go to for a psychiatric evaluation. So we get calls for everything, and the thing about it is we're going to come. We're not going to not come, especially if there's something that it could be. We're always going to err on the side of caution. So you're always going to see us, and you're probably going to always see a lot of police presence depending on what it is, because we're always going to show up, like I said, until we kind of figure out what's going on. So I can understand from a resident's perspective, you see a lot of police officers going to a particular apartment or a particular building or going up and down Connecticut Avenue. Sometimes it's theft from the CVS. Sometimes we have a lookout. Sometimes we have LPR hits. Sometimes, they're like, okay, this is happening in the building. Once we go in the building, we realize, okay, this is not what it is. So a lot of times we do get a lot of calls, and we do get a lot of calls sometimes from a lot of mental health consumers, but we still have to respond and we still have to figure out what's going on. But I can understand from you guys' perspective that, oh my God, it's a lot going on. Sometimes it's a lot going on, but not all the time. It's a criminal activity that's going on, if that answers your question.
I mean, I think it does on a level, and I don't know if anyone else who has been active in this issue, and Ms. Miller, if you feel like your question was answered, but I just want to reiterate that it's not, we see MPD responding, and that is, I mean, thank you. And I guess what I'm saying more is the lived experience of people in apartment buildings along Connecticut Avenue is not just that there are false alarms, it is that there is activity going on that they see and they feel and they hear,
Hmm.
and it's not, we don't see that when we look at the report. So, I mean, that maybe this is like sort of a larger conversation for um for an agenda item so that I can understand. I think maybe
Hmm.
we need to figure out maybe a better way to ask the question. But
Hmm.
what I'm trying to say is your report doesn't feel like what people are experiencing living
Hmm.
in Connecticut House, living in Saratoga, living in the Brandywine. So
Hmm.
I want to understand why those things aren't aligning because you're certainly doing your job. You're showing up, but it seems like there's still a lot of bad actors continuing to bad act. So
Hmm. But
that's what I'm trying to
I
help
get it.
the people in these the people who are experiencing this in this apartment
Hmm.
buildings where they tell us we don't feel safe in our
Hmm.
apartment buildings. We don't feel safe in our homes. How can we better support them? So maybe like that's something that, all of us can sort of think about
Hmm.
how we might, and I know we're going to get to this a little bit later,
Hmm.
in the meeting in terms of what was discussed at Councilmember Fruman and Henderson's Housing Roundtable. But that's what I want to try and understand. And I know you've been a partner I see we have Marilyn Lance, who's the Tenant Association president of Brandywine. I know you've been hand in hand with a lot of the tenant associations, but I really think, especially given What we heard again at the housing roundtable is we need to work harder on this.
Hmm.
I,
So,
I get email after email. It doesn't feel safe in the neighborhood right now. I see it in the, in messages that are sent to me. So I know that's your primary concern. That's their primary concern. How
mhm.
do we get ourselves to a better place there, where we're meeting the need?
Okay, so with regarding to the apartment buildings, it's very difficult for MPD to actually police inside of their apartment building unless we're called to an incident. So, with regarding to that, the only way that MPD can actually go inside of a building or whatever to somebody's apartment is if we're called for something. So, if you got in the and it seems as though we're saying the same things over and over again, but the only way that we could get into and investigate if we have people that are calling us, that are letting us know what's going on, that we that are saying, okay, this is what's going on. People are reporting these crimes. So even though you feel as though there's a lot going on that MPD is, I guess, not really, I guess, are you, I'm not sure if you're saying we're not coming to, or we're not attending, or we're
No,
not
no, no. I'm
preventing,
not saying you're not coming. I'm just saying
or not
that,
preventing.
no, no, no. That I'm just saying that people are saying, consistently that they don't feel safe. So I just got a message
Hmm.
last night at Connecticut House, 4500 Connecticut, starting at
Uh-huh.
about 10 for an hour. There were lots of police cars. I think, maybe the lieutenant addressed this before, but maybe since this is specific, you can get back to us on it. Um,
Hmm.
maybe this is just another example of you're saying, you're giving a robust response um,
Right.
to a call.
So you're
But
saying this something happened at 4500
that
Connecticut?
I just got a message saying, yeah, something
Okay.
happened at 45 Connecticut last night, 10, well over an hour, 5 to 6 police cars on the scene.
And
So
about what time that was?
10 p.m.
10 p.m. Okay, so I will look into that tomorrow once I get back to work, and I will let you know. 4500 Connecticut, 10 p.m.
Okay. And I
Okay.
don't want to just sort of belabor and put you on the spot for specific incidents that, just happened last night. That doesn't seem quite fair. But just holistically, I hope you're understanding what we're trying to get at here.
Of
Um,
course. And that's fine because that's what I want because a lot, like I said, a lot of these things are not going to make it to a stats list because depending on the nature. So you may see a lot of police cars, but you don't know the nature of what was going on. So things like that, I can look into it for you. So I have no problems in looking into specific things like that that may not have gotten to the crime cards. Because Mike the stats that I gave was up until yesterday. So it should have been in there if it was something like a something crazy, unless it's just a simple assault or something that happened.
I'd like to go to Marilyn Lance,
Sure.
please. Hi, Marilyn. Marilyn's the president of the Tennis Association of the Brandywine.
Yeah, I don't want to belabor this conversation because I've had it not only with Lieutenant Bob, and I want to make sure, Lieutenant, that you understand what Courtney is trying to say or is saying. She is not faulting MPD at all. Our dilemma is, and I don't know how you guys keep numbers, but I know what I get on a monthly basis from my FOIA report, and they do not match what you were saying to us this evening. So there could be a flaw in the city's reporting system, but what is happening in these buildings is real. I don't care if somebody calls and says that it was a domestic assault or fight or a couple's fight. And when you get here, they say it didn't happen. This stuff is happening in the buildings. I get a report every month, and it has an average of 30 calls, one a day, sometimes two. Since we've been doing this, The numbers that you guys report that says everything is peachy cream, the car thefts have gone down, that this have gone down. You all never, never, never report what's going on in the buildings. Now, they may not be 100% accurate, but a lot of stuff is happening. And somehow we have to come to, excuse me, I'm suffering with bronchitis. Somehow we have to come to some type of happy medium where what is being reported and what is happening are in fact very similar. So it's real. It's real in all these buildings. And you went through this presentation with me and the property manager in one of our monthly meetings. And he walked out of there with his chest stuck out saying, there ain't nothing wrong with my building. There's a lot wrong with the Brandywine. There's a lot of activity. I don't know if you want to call it criminal. I don't know, but there's all kind of activity, and it's on my FOIA report every month. So maybe you and I can sit down again and kind of go through the numbers, but it's real, and I think that's all Courtney's trying to say.
Thanks.
Yes, and I do and I do understand what you're trying to say, Courtney and Marilyn. I do understand what you're trying to say also. So the numbers that I am giving is what was reported for reports that was done for only these things. So with regards to anything else, like somebody loitering, there's a drunken disorderly, that is not going to be on the report. So I think
I'm not
what you guys are
talking
trying to
about drunken disorderly. I'm
no, no, I'm
talking
just
about
no, no. This is
serious stuff.
no, this is just examples, Marilyn. This is just examples. However, if there is something as serious as a robbery or a theft from auto or anything like that, it's going to be on my report. The only thing is, the reports that I give you guys is for every 30 days. So every 30 days is going to be a new number because that's just within that 30-day time period. That does not negate everything else that happened from the beginning of the year. I just give you guys new numbers. So I don't know if you guys are looking at the entire year's numbers, and I'm just giving you every 30 days numbers. It could that be what it is?
And I think you're giving us numbers that do not reflect what's happening in apartment buildings. It's numbers that's happening in the Giant. It's numbers that's happening in the CVS. It's numbers that's happening in Target. You're not giving us numbers of what happens in the apartment buildings.
So the numbers, so we do not get numbers broken down by individual addresses. The numbers that we have is for the entire PSA 203. So everything that happens in PSA 203, that's what I'm giving you. So if there's a theft that happened within the building and there's a theft that happened within the CVS or the Giants, all those thefts is going to combine because all of that happened in PSA 203.
I guess more, and then we can move on from this because
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to sort of regroup to get this information, but maybe you
Mm-hmm.
and me and Marilyn could sit down because
Yes.
what she's saying, like Marilyn has FOIA numbers that don't agree with the report that we're seeing here. Her FOIA numbers are reflect more of what we're feeling and what apartment residents are feeling in terms of what the actual disturbances are. And those are, we're not seeing that in crime cards. And so we want to understand what's really happening so that
Mm-hmm.
people, so that we can work together because you guys are getting a lot of calls. And when I look at
Mm-hmm.
this crime report, it doesn't, and I understand you're explaining to that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't reflect that, right? Because not everything is reportable, but it's reportable because Maryland's getting it through FOIA. So it's happening, not just stuff that where you came because you had a show of force 5 to 6 police cars last night at 4,500, but real things that are happening where it is resulting in a report, but that report isn't on crime cards. It's only available through FOIA. So that I think is what we need to figure out how we can be reporting that information on a monthly basis because that's our lived experience as opposed to the
Right.
numbers we're seeing.
I
So
I got
thank you so much. And I really appreciate because I know it's like Marilyn said, you are there every time someone calls, and we are grateful, and we need you. So we want to be the best partner for you that we can be. We want you to understand what's happening so you can respond most effectively, and we can help people get to you most effectively. So that's,
Of
you know,
course.
just a continuing conversation so how we can work together better. So thank you very much. And a lot of that is you always being here with us and answering questions. So thank
You're
you.
you're very welcome. Have a blessed one.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, uh, Now Juanita Gray from UDC.
Good
Are you
after or good evening, everyone. I'm going
Hi,
to stay off
Juanita?
camera. I'm actually at a homecoming event. I'm sitting in a little small corner just to give this report, and I have to get back inside. But
Thanks for popping in.
of course, this is our homecoming week. Tonight we have our coronation of our Mrs. UDC, Mr. and Mrs. UDC in the royal court, so that's exciting. There'll be a ball afterwards. Really beautiful over there. Uh, the biggest thing for homecoming that would be free and open to the public is this Saturday, which is the tailgate, which starts at 11. It's over by our Greek Row, which is by the athletic center. And then the basketball game, there's a women's basketball game and a men's basketball game. The women's starts at 1, and I believe the men's starts at 3, against Virginia State. But again, that tailgate is open to anyone in the community. There'll be a ton of free food, music. I highly encourage everyone to come out. The president will be there. He has his tent. Some of our council member, not council member people, some of our board of trustee members will be there too. So we invite everyone to come out. This Thursday at 6:30 p.m., I will be hosting the Van Ness Community Campus Task Force meeting. Um, Commissioner Iglesias, if you allow, or if you open the chat, I will put the link in there. It's via Teams. So invite everyone to come out. Just some quick facilities updates from Javier. Where is that? 1 second. Um, you guys should have seen, or if you haven't seen, look up on the polls. We've changed some of the poll banners in front of the university on Connecticut Avenue. We've installed the big UDC on the stairs and then on the side of Building 38. Right now, we are waiting on, what are we waiting on? He is waiting on approval or permitting to put sign banners on the law school in 4250. So once those are approved, we will have even more signage up there. And then Doghouse, they're slated to be completed in December of 2025. We don't have an opening date just yet. And then Tropical Smoothie, the construction documents are being reviewed by the Department of Building. So that's all I have.
All right. Thank you. Go Firebirds.
Go Firebirds. All right. Normally I would stay for the whole meeting, but I have to get back to the activity. So have a
Oh,
great
go
meeting.
party down. Yeah, do it.
Thanks,
Thank
It
you.
everyone.
looks like Mitch has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like letting her off to go to the ball.
Juanita, you still on?
Yes, I'm still here.
I would ask that if for January that you please send me an update so I can put it with the agenda.
Yes, definitely.
We might want
Thank
to
you.
talk to Javier too. So let's try and see if we can talk a little bit about the facilities in January too.
Okay. Um, Commissioner Iglesias, if you open up the chat, I'll put the link
You
into
send it,
the.
if you send it to the host in the chat, we post it.
And the
Oh,
chat is
okay.
open too.
That's how the chat has to be.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, moving right along. Department of Transportation, Christoph Wassmer, who is our new Ward 3 rep. We used to have Christian Pinheiro, who a lot of us he was a frequent guest, and so this is Christoph's first appearance here at ANC3F. We're very happy to have you. It's super fun. We know you're going to want to come more.
Yes, thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone. My name is Christoph Wasmer. I'm the Ward 2 and Ward 3 liaison for the District Department of Transportation. For tonight, I just have a quick update for the Safe Routes to School project at Murch Elementary School. So our design team is working on design, and it will go to our engineers for review in December. And we hope to send the ANC a notice of intent this spring for the proposed changes to infrastructure for parking and for signs around the school. Just as a reminder, the Safe Routes to School program looks at um, the 350-foot radius, but also, the entire commuting routes for students to and from the school. But we are only allowed to, by legislation, to make changes to signs and infrastructure in a 350-foot radius around the school. We are looking at making changes to pick up and drop off for the school, for buses, and improving markings and pavement markings and signage, and adding some speed humps and raised crosswalks where we can.
Did
Um,
we, are you able to, I mean, I don't know if you know yet or if it's been in the discussion. I know when Commissioner Guzman and I met with the consulting team that's working on the project, and we were talking to parents, one of the most people had a lot to say, but one of the things we heard most often was, can we change the direction of Davenport and Ellicott, even just during rush hour, so that we have a much cleaner, safer pickup and drop off? Is that on the table?
that's a very good question. I can get back to you on that. I do not have an answer for you tonight. But
Okay.
we will be back to present when we NOI, and of course, as we get closer to the completed design and recommended improvements around the school. I
So
know. Yep.
on that same topic, then, um, the crossing guards
Yeah.
at March, are we um, have we gotten anywhere in replacing our I think it's our Davenport and Reno, and I know I've had a lot of reports of really aggressive drivers at Connecticut and I mean Reno and Nebraska.
Yeah. We know that that is a concern. Right now, the Davenport and Reno Road post for a school crossing guard is listed as a supplemental post. We know that it's critical for the school, but the core posts for the school have been posted, and we should have a school crossing guard there. And if it's not a school crossing guard, then there'd be a safety technician, a TCO, which is traffic control officer. Right now, we do have a staffing shortage for our school crossing guard, and a lot of the core positions across the city are being backfilled by traffic control officers, and that is um, not ideal. That's not their main function for DDOT. They should be at major intersections dealing with special events. But right now, with the staffing shortage, they have been backfilling. So we haven't been able to complete any of the supplemental posts for the school crossing guards across the district. But as we begin to meet our staffing needs for a school crossing guard program, then we will fill those positions. I can
Oh,
get you
Krista?
specific information on the number of posts, but I just have to pull that up.
Okay. Um,
Yeah, that was my question. I want to understand so we can be good information sources for the community. I want to understand where the merch crossing guard shortages rank in priority amongst all the staffing shortage that you're expressing we have in the city.
Um, right now, um, I don't know where we are. We would be covering the core posts. Right now, we have 214 core posts in the city.
What is the
Um,
difference between a core post and a supplemental post?
it's proximity to the school, or um, the roadway classification. So if they are classified as, uh, a larger, arterial road, or um, not just a local road, then they would be considered as a core post. Um, for example, just off the top of my mind, John Eaton, which is on 34th Street, and Lowell, the 34th and Macomb, which is not directly in front of the school, is the core post, and the 34th and Lowell Street is the supplemental post, just because Macomb is listed as a collector and Lowell is a local street.
Okay, well, I am confused then by Davenport and Reno. I mean, Reno is the same as 34th. Reno is the same
Yeah.
exact street that John Eaton sits on, Murch sits on it. 34th and Davenport is literally 3 feet from the edge of a classroom.
hmm
I I just don't understand why that is not considered a core post. What is the core post for Murch?
The core post for merch is 34th and Nebraska. I mean, sorry,
Gosh,
Reno Road in Nebraska. I apologize.
Reno and Nebraska?
Um, well,
That's
there's a couple schools in the area,
I
so
think that yeah,
that's
well,
for
because that
deal.
probably hits deal. And
Yeah.
yeah.
but
That would
I just because I think this is helpful for the Safe Routes to School, Christoph,
Yeah.
for you to maybe bring back to them. The point that Sue just made about it being 3 feet from a classroom on my very small piece of Fessenden yesterday, a speeding car flipped over. It's like a very small street, flipped over, hit my beloved male woman, and really very badly injuring her. So to Sue's point, if that intersection, which really is like that, I think it's a pre-kindergarten classroom right on that corner. If you have that kind of situation, you really do, and cars go much faster on Reno than they go on Fessenden.
hmm
That really is, I mean, I do think that, if there's a way to figure out the classification, if that kind of accident happened that just happened on my street yesterday, happened right there on Davenport in Reno, you'd be in a real pickle.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean that's definitely something that I will take back, and I'll get more information as to maybe we can switch the core post, and work with the
Yeah,
school as to what they think about that.
I would like to understand what the ANC could do about that. Like, is it a resolution? Is it something else? Do we do some advocacy with whoever? Like,
Yeah, let's figure that out and try and get something on the books for January. That again on the hey, we're in a pickle here situation. There was a deal student that was struck by a car
hmm
at Connecticut and Nebraska. Can you speak to that and what DDOT is doing to, I mean, that is a core intersection that has a safety officer there. Um,
Yeah,
this happened, it got reported to you guys.
yeah. So it has been reported. I don't have the information on the crash and the student getting struck, but Nebraska and Connecticut is on our Connecticut Avenue multimodal safety improvement program, a project. So we will be seeing improvements through that project to that intersection. And it is very concerning, the crashes, especially involving students around schools. And so we definitely are looking into it. At this moment, we don't have any specific actions points besides the project that we currently have going
Does
for
that,
Commercial Avenue.
does a child getting walloped by a car escalate something in a TSI?
Well, any crash, especially crashes involving a pedestrian or non-motorist, does increase the score of the closest intersection, and so then that does escalate, or that rise makes it more likely to get selected.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone
And
have any? Oh, sorry,
oh,
go
just to
ahead.
that point, the next round of traffic safety inputs is going to be January 1st, 2026. So we can look out for that intersection to be selected then potentially. So I'll let you know and I'll follow up in January if there are any TSIs that are selected for ANC3F.
Yeah, what could we, I mean, what could we do to ensure that some of these things are selected for ANC3F?
We could probably do a resolution, I think, which we've done in the past, which listed out like, I mean, we took DDOT's priorities and then
Hmm. Meshed
told,
them with
hey,
ours.
actually, if you live here, guess what?
Yeah,
Newsflash. So, and that was effective last year. I mean, that was before your time,
yeah.
Hmm.
uh, Sue.
Okay.
So yeah, that was great.
Okay.
Commissioner David, uh,
Sorry, it's just too many different. It's not easy for me to unmute. Thank you so much, Christopher. Are you all having conversations with the principal at Merch?
Yes,
Because
yes,
it
very
seemed
much so.
that the last I heard, like he wasn't hearing from you guys, and so, but I knew that I'd had a conversation about this a couple months ago with the community. But then after that was told that you all were not in conversation with him. So was just making sure that there's routine conversation with him about what you're doing with the Safe Routes to School project. And do you all also talk to the parents? Because I know I've just had conversations with parents just in my building and they know nothing about this. And so I just wanted to know
we had a
what's
meeting,
going
Claudette,
on with.
with parents and DDOT on the safe route to school. Um,
There was
when their consultants came.
There was also, Claudette, there was also a survey that that DDOT gave to us that we passed on to Merch, that Merch spread through its HSA. It also the principal arranged to have it sent home to every child in the Friday folder in the backpacks. So the parents
Okay.
have
Well,
been.
I'm just talking to the people, just the parents in my building don't know anything about this. So I just wanted to know D dot you directly because I didn't get any of this stuff. I mean, you guys are working on something else, but with D
We're
dot, if
all
you could
working
just
on the
talk,
same thing, Claudette.
D
We're
We
all
dot, can
can
working
you
on
tell
this.
me, could you
I
just
can reach out
help me?
to
Thank
you
you.
with just the basics onto the program, the project, and so you can let your neighbors know and the parents know that this is projects happening and what we're considering if that would be helpful. I can send that to you right now.
Okay. And how often do you talk to the principal of Merch?
I'm not in direct conversation with the principal. It's the project team, so
Okay, it's the
I
project
don't have
team.
that
Okay.
But just
information.
to
But
Okay.
clarify, from DDOT and the project,
you're on mute.
sorry, I don't know how that happened. From DDOT to March and the Safe Routes to School project, there was a piece of paper that went home in every student's Friday folder. So every student at March received this through multiple channels, including a piece of paper in the folder that they bring home every week. Um,
I have that confirmed by the HSA presidents.
Okay. Well, I just talked to some parents and just and they don't know about that. So thank you, D Dot.
Well, perhaps, Claudette, I'm happy to supply you with the HSA president's contact information at Merch, and you could give that to the parents in your building.
It's weird that the parents don't have that and they have to go through something else. And I don't have it either, and that's in my ANC. So it's just weird that there's workarounds to
You,
me being able to
It
have
was,
that
it was
info.
a
But thank
meeting
you
we
so
were all
much.
invited
Thank you.
to with Safe Routes to
Thank
School
you.
consultants. The whole ANC was invited. Commissioner Guzman and I attended, and I think this is what led from that. And I mean, as a former merch parent, Friday folders, everyone looks at Friday folders because it's where all the information from the school is transmitted to your to the family. So does anyone else have questions for DDOT? Thanks, Christoph, for showing up. We'd love to see you again.
Yeah, thank you. It's nice and brief, so yeah, very pleasant. Thank you so much for having me.
Take care.
Have a good night.
You too.
Um, we're going to talk about housing later, so I'm going to go straight to streets and sidewalks. Paul Harrison. Or Amy. I don't know who wants to report on. Paul.
Hi,
Hi, Paul.
how are you? How is everyone? So just I think the key update for streets and sidewalks for this month is obviously that we'll talk about later that DC Water is getting close to reopening Albemarle Street to vehicular traffic. Actually, with the help of Christopher was just on, we have made sure that DC Water has the right diagrams so they can replace the raised crosswalk at that corner of 32nd and Albemarle that the community fought to get. So DC Water has what it needs, and now we will see how they perform. There is a public space inspection that will be done by DDOT after they repave the street and hopefully replace and repaint the crosswalk and the speed table that's there. So keeping an eye on that. And then I'm hoping to suggest that early in the year we have a community convening to talk about how to advise DDOT on its next set of sidewalk improvements in ANC3F. They continue to work through their last set, but looks like they finally planted the stormwater retention areas over on Davenport. So
Report.
lots of folks using that. So
Excellent. Thank you.
That's great. So much. Thank you so much, Paul. Is it possible for me to just say one more thing?
Yeah, please.
Awesome. Okay, so thrilled to announce that the ANC funded See Me pedestrian flags are now up at Warren and Reno. Shout out to Stephanie Resnick for her partnership and her neighbors partnership. They raised funds for some of those flags, and then the ANC also provided funds, and they're up and they're being used. I get messages that they're used every day and I see them in use. And also DDOT sent us slow down signs. That's one of the other intersections of concern. But anyway, thank you.
Thanks so much. I actually think I might have skipped over Gloria Garcia and Van Ness Main Street. Gloria, did I have I omitted you from having a word here? If I have, I'm sorry. If you'd like to say a word. This is so out of
No,
order.
no, I wasn't. Hi, Gloria Garcia, Van Ness Main Street. No, Mitch asked for an update and it was provided for the
Oh, on that
for the
demo.
agenda. Yeah. I'm here for whale tea in case you need me.
Oh, excellent. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I just wanted
You're
to make
welcome.
sure I hadn't, you
No,
know.
thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Okay, moving on. Parks and watersheds. I have like some really great, amazing news, which is that Kathy Sykes, who has been just an amazing stalwart of our neighborhood and is sort of this confluence between actually streets and sidewalks and parks and watersheds with her amazing pollinator project, which has done so much good for our neighborhood, has agreed to chair the Parks and Watersheds Committee. So I'd like to ask, I know everyone's so happy. It's a real get for us guys. So I'd like to ask Kathy to say hello. Everybody knows her. If you're a fan of 3F, then you're a fan of Kathy Sykes. Chair Kathy Sykes. Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you, Courtney. And I really just wanted to be really brief, other than to invite anyone who wants to participate on the committee. I think we can get organized and have a big plan for 2026 to make progress. I'll just mention that there was some good work on removing invasive plants at the Brandywine Park last weekend. And then on Sunday, we did plant a whole bunch of trees in the Linnaean Park. So we are working in the neighborhood to improve the environment, watersheds, parks, and would love to have anyone who wants to work on these issues to just let me know. I can put my email in the chat box, but that's all I have for now.
And I'd just like to say one more thing, which is, if anybody who was at our meeting last month, in person and online, very exciting, we were at Forest Hills and we talked with Tina Sandri about planting a tree box in front of Forest Hills with the pollinator plants. This was not even a month ago. In that time, that was planned, volunteers were gotten, and the planting was done. And there are not that many things that I feel like get from, idea to completion within a month. I mean, and this is really incredible. So, like things are happening, moving. Kathy was also featured on Clock Out DC, which is like a very great Instagram influencer, came and volunteered and suggested other people volunteer. So we're going to have like a lot of cool young people influencing the pollinators as well. So you're just doing amazing stuff. So thanks again.
Yeah, we finished actually the ANC grant, all but one. We have 5 of the 6 completed, and we're supposed to be working on Sunday to finish the last one. So it is very exciting, and everyone's excited to also remove their invasives on their property, and neighbors are getting involved. So I think it's everything we had hoped for from an educational, from just show and tell. And this is from, families with little kids at age 3 to age 5, as well as, adults. But and the enthusiasm for all these people who saw that Clock Out DC. They keep coming in wanting to do stuff, and I keep getting more projects for them. That's all. Courtney may have frozen.
Correct.
Courtney, did you freeze? Okay, as vice chair, we'll move on to the schools and university report.
Just one small thing, which is actually kind of heartwarming. So there are lots of families at Merch that were impacted by the government shutdown, and the HSA and the school counselors and the social workers were receiving a lot of requests for food assistance. So we connected all the people at Merch with Judy Ingram and Northwest Community Food. And there have been lots of Merch families who have now been served by Northwest Community Food, didn't know about it previously. And then there are also some families at Merch who have been contributing to Northwest Community Foods, like turkey drive and things like that. There was a big outreach and sort of flyer information sent out to the community. So I just think it's great work that Northwest Community Food is doing, and I love that we were able to connect them with such like a community that totally makes sense that they're connected with. So that's all.
Good. Thank you very much for that compliment. Let's move on to our regular agenda. The first is the housing roundup follow-up. I'm not sure who's got that report.
I think that would be Courtney. It's the housing roundtable, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have to go.
Maybe, well, is Marilyn still on? Is Marilyn Lance still on? If she is, I know Marilyn, you went with Courtney, right, to the roundtable?
Yeah, we did.
Do you feel comfortable talking about that, or shall we wait for Courtney to jump
Well,
in?
I think Courtney has the background information. it's my understanding, and she'll correct me if I'm wrong. The purpose of it was for Matt Fruman and Christina Henderson to continue to gather information to try to get a better understanding of what is happening in a lot of the apartments along Connecticut Avenue, and I'm sure other areas, but it seemed like it was Ward 3. Um, so that they could see if some changes had to be done to the legislation. They had the gentleman, I can't think of his name right now, that created Housing First, and he was excellent. And he, in so many words, or he said that how Housing First was created and their objectives is clearly not, from what he understands, how it is being done in Washington D.C. We had different people in. They had Dr. Barbara Bazron, who is the director of Department of Behavioral Services, because there are so many calls for behavioral issues in all of the buildings up and down Connecticut Avenue. And they had Dr. Pierre, who was also, I think she's, what department is she, Sue? I can't remember.
She's
Is
the and she's the interim director for
DCHA?
yes.
Yeah,
Or yes,
DCHA.
yes.
um, the property management group that testified was in fact Borgia Residential, and they have
Mhm.
5 of the 8 buildings that there is now a lot of focus on for behavioral health issues and criminal activity along Connecticut Avenue. Uh, I started feeling bad. I left before Dr. Bazron spoke, but she is a very good person to have in our corner. She is running the organization, I feel, very well, and is coming up with a couple new programs. So it was an afternoon or a day well spent. I don't know the status of what Matt and Christina Henderson have done with the information that they got from our testimonies yet. Is Marlene still on? Marlene was there too.
I think Shantice is on and has raised her hand. So
Oh, okay,
from
great.
Council Member Fruman's office, Shantice.
Okay, is she there?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. I'm Shantice. I'm from Councilmember Fruman's office. We do have an update on the hearing that was, I believe, last Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much the hearing was to try to discuss how DHS and DBH can collaborate together to better support residents that have like serious mental health and substance abuse issues. During the roundtable, DBH did introduce 2 initiatives that were like really, really great. The first one is they have a hotline for residents of any of the apartment buildings to call to report any concerns. But this is like a concern that is before a major crisis that you would call, because it would take about a day or so for them to follow up with the residents. I'll be sure to send the number to you guys so you can put it in the chat for everyone. The next initiative was that they were going to place additional case managers in 8 buildings along Connecticut Avenue. And the case managers are supposed to be on site Monday through Friday to engage with the residents and to coordinate with the property management team, and to also arrange care for like any of the residents that may be experiencing a crisis. And if you give me 1 second, I can pull up. I'm sorry, that's my baby in the background. But I can give you all the list of the buildings. We just got this list today. So the apartments on the list are 3003 Van Ness, the Brandywine, Connecticut House, the Avalon, Connecticut Heights, Sedgwick Gardens, the Kenmore, and then 5301 Connecticut Avenue. And I think those are like the major takeaways from that hearing. And also, thank you all in 3F because you all were a big, big support. And we appreciate you guys for coming out and testifying and letting us know. And so that, Councilmember Henderson can also hear from you guys about what you all experience with these residents.
Is there any reason why Park West and Parkway aren't on that list?
I think they just started with the initial 8.
Okay.
So as we get feedback, we can always coordinate with DBH to see if there are additional buildings that may need that
Right.
additional support. But you can always call the hotline and they'll be able to assist you no matter what building you're in.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for the update. Courtney, we were on the Housing Roundtable follow-up in Maryland, and Shantice gave us a update on that. If you want to expand on your perspectives, fine. I'll turn the meeting back over to you.
Sorry. Hi, I'm sorry, I lost internet and couldn't get back on. I'm assuming you guys did talk about the buildings that are participating in the supplemental case management pilot.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
discussed. Great. Okay. Um, you guys are probably doing a better job without me. You should keep going. I'm so sorry. Um, uh, should we, or did you feel like the housing roundtable was discussing?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay, great.
we're up to the cannabis hearing
Cannabis.
update.
Um, Commissioner Guzman and I have been working, I think, for nearly 9 months on the uh, Canna Art case. We had 2 hearings this past month, one on October the 1st and one on October the 30th, which was it was actually one hearing, but it got split into 2 parts. I think it ended up being about 8 hours in total, if that's right. Sue, if you want to unmute yourself and participate in this conversation. Um, uh, we the board has 75 days to render their judgment on whether or not the applicants will be granted a license. Um, the ANC presented our case on the 30th. We had Paul Harrison and Stan Wall, Van Ness Main Street board member, and Jason Levin uh, and myself. Am I missing anyone, Sue, who testified?
Yeah.
And each of us was also cross-examined by the applicant's lawyer. Um, and we made a case based on vehicle and pedestrian safety. Um, and I believe very robustly on the fact that the applicants operated illegally outside of the Safe Harbor program um, before they had a license to operate. They only had a license to operate as an art gallery. There was photographic evidence that they were selling cannabis, that they not only had cannabis flowers there, but they had created branded packaging. So if there are some people at the meeting who participated or heard some of their presentations over last summer when they said that they were just selling CBD dog tinctures, the ANC, through a FOIA request to the Department of Licensing and Consumer Protection, saw the photographic evidence that they weren't just selling CBD dog tinctures, but they were selling actual cannabis flower in branded packaging. So this, to our ANC, and we agreed unanimously as a group that we would not support businesses who knowingly operated illegally. And I think if I can speak for all of us, I think we all felt comfortable that as a standard both for cannabis or any other business that seeks to license an ANC3F, that all of your currently elected commissioners feel very strongly that we will always oppose a business that is not operating within the law. We now await the ABCA ruling, which will come again at some point within the next, maybe it's now 65 days. I don't think I have a sense to say which way that would go. Commissioner Guzman, do you want to add anything? Or Commissioner Rothman? I know Commissioner Rothman also watched the hearing.
No, well, I don't think I have anything else to add about the hearing, but I did want to say that, and so the minutes reflect that we're very grateful for all the community members who emailed or wrote letters of support for the protest.
The protest was because, in large part because of the community feedback.
Yes. And the applicant did not have they had one letter of support and we had it was 60, right, Courtney? 60.
Maybe more. And I think 98% of those were actually verified from within ANC3F.
Yes.
The one letter of support we got for the applicants was from outside of ANC3F.
Yes, that's right. And the letters ranged from all ages, all genders. I think there was even a student who wrote. And so I just want the community to know that we appreciate that and we tried our best to represent the wishes and the desires of the community that have been expressed to us.
Commissioner David? Can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't unmute.
Mine wasn't working either.
I think it's only me.
No,
I
I just
saw
said
that
mine wasn't
I
working
saw
either.
that Canna Art is closed. Is that the is that
Well, Canna Art, Commissioner David, Canna Art had been subleasing to a kind of mid-century modern art gallery called Bold Alley. And I had heard that their sublease from CanArt was going to expire at the end of the year. But as far as I know, Bold Alley is still in that space.
Oh, it actually says that the pop-up is the latest is that the pop-up has ended for Boat Alley. It's the latest
Okay.
I saw.
So where
It
did you
was
see
in the
that?
last week or so because
Yeah.
someone went in, I don't know, a week or so ago and talked to her.
Is that posted on the door?
Yeah, yeah, it's posted. There's a sign on the door that says Boat Alley, our pop-up here has ended.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Well,
that's
I guess it will stay vacant until ABCA makes its decision.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's for the property owner, I guess. Anything else on that? We can move on. Um, uh, let's go to now 3415 Yuma Street Northwest, the former Days Inn parking garage. We have Jeff Utz from Goulston and Stores. Our We discussed this last year when the zoning had to be changed slightly, or not slightly, but the zoning had to be changed from how it had been previously. But I'm just going to let you explain, Jeff, and maybe we'll ask some clarifying questions if need be. But welcome and thanks for letting us know what you're up to.
Great. Thanks so much, Chairman Carlson, and thank you everybody for having us. We actually do have a presentation that we can run through really quickly if you would like us to.
Sure.
Looks like I would just need to be allowed to turn on my sharing.
Can you share? I don't know if Commissioner Iglesias, I'm not a host.
You should be good to go. Jeff, you should be good to go now.
Yep, I am indeed. Thank you so much for turning that on. I can just say a few quick words, and then I wanted to introduce you to the team. But I'm Jeff Utz with Coulson and Stores. I'm the land use counsel for the applicant here, which is Highcrest slash 3415 Yuma Dev LLC. And so in addition to Colin Dean, I have Shane Detman with me, who just texted me that he can't unmute, but he might need to say a few words as well later in the session. But just really quickly, 3415 Yuma is under contract to buy this property, and you all have definitely seen this property before. Square 1971, lot 26. So it's the parking deck behind the Days Inn. It contains about 17,000 square feet of lot area, and it's currently vacant with that three-level parking structure that was constructed in the 1960s. It does have a future land use map designation of medium density residential. So you all saw it in 2020 and 2021 when it came through to get that future land use map amendment. And so what we are going to start the process with the zoning commission that the chairwoman referenced is a zoning map amendment from R1B to RA3 for this site. So we're really excited to be here. It's been a multi-year journey to even get here, and it'll be a significant journey still to come, but this is a really key process for us. We did send out the notice of intent to file the map amendment last week. So we would be several weeks away from actually filing this application, but we are coming to you just for an informational overview, kind of tell you what's to come, hear your feedback, happy to answer any questions and so forth. And with that, I can just turn it over to Colin to say a few words about the applicant. Colin, are you
Give me
able?
1 second. It's my fault.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry, I didn't really introduce.
No, you're all right. I got Shane, but not Colin. Sorry.
Gotcha. All right. Can you hear me all right?
Yep, we can.
Great. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for having us. Excited to be here. Like Jeff said, just to introduce myself, I'm Colin Dean with Highcrest, just representing our partnership on the development side for this project. A little bit just about the firm. We're a multifamily developer based out of DC. We develop in really DC and a little bit in Virginia, but we're primarily focused in this upper northwest corridor of Washington, DC. We're excited about this opportunity. Really hope we can join the neighborhood and be a good neighbor with you all. So with that, I'll let Jeff and Shane keep going, but here to answer questions and happy to engage with you all. So thank you.
Great. Thanks, Colin. So just running quickly through, we don't want to take up too much of your time. We know you have a very full agenda, but just I referenced some of this, but this is some of the background when there have been touch points with this property in the past. In 2020 and 2021, it came through and received ANC3F support for a comprehensive plan future land use map redesignation. So it was low density residential, and now it's medium density residential. Then last year, this parcel came through to modify the BZA application that was approved many, many years ago. That's BZA case 7096A, and it essentially severed this parcel from that parcel so that the parking covenant that linked the two together was no longer necessary for this parking garage. So it kind of freed it of these kind of shackles of an old zoning concept. Which allows us to kind of take this next step. So this is just an aerial showing exactly where the parcel is. I know you all know this all too well. Another shot showing some of the topography that relates to the site. As you all know, it slopes significantly from east to west as you travel from Connecticut up Yuma to 35th. This is a picture looking north off Yuma. So this is the site itself. And then several more pictures. All of this will be in the application when we file as well, just showing some of the context. And I know you all are all too familiar with this, so we don't want to belabor this. This is the current zone map showing that the site is indeed R1B. and it's adjacent to the MU7B that characterizes much of the corridor along Connecticut Avenue here. The standard for the map amendment is that the amendment itself is not inconsistent with the comp plan and other policies. So in the application package, we will detail that. It's largely based on the future land use map that shows the medium density residential. In addition to this map, which is a generalized policy map, it's in a neighborhood conservation area. This map shows the future land use map. So this is where the residential medium density designation is shown. That's that mid-grade orange, adjacent to low density residential to the west and just to the northwest. This is the last slide of the presentation, just kind of showing what the difference is between the current zoning and the proposed zoning. So it is basically, it allows the parcel to take a step forward from being a single family home lot that would be subject to the development standards in this column to one that would permit a multi-family building to be constructed here with a larger envelope. And that is indeed what Colin is intending to do here, to bring a multi-family building to this parcel and try to take advantage of the new future land use map designation and really the great infrastructure here and the great community that you all have. With that, happy to answer any questions, and we look forward to coming back after we file and talking with you more throughout the whole process.
Can you lay out the timeline again, please?
Sure. Yep. We
Go to
will
Commissioner Bear directly after that.
We will be filing the application package itself in probably 6 weeks or so. There is a 45-day notice of intent period that's required under the regulations, and we sent out that notice last week. So we would look to file in about 6 weeks. After that, the case needs to be set down at the zoning commission. So we would probably have a hearing in mid to late Q2 next year, and then probably get a vote should we be approved by the zoning commission over the summer, and then probably an order would come out towards the end of next year, roughly. And a lot of that is subject to change, but that's kind of the overall journey. It's about a 9 to 12 month process for a standalone map amendment like this.
Mitch.
I want to first say that I'm very encouraged by what you people are proposing. I also ask, how many units are you considering to be in the building?
I think you're on mute still, Colin.
Yeah. Sorry, I won't remute myself. I think I have to get permission every time.
Right.
We're planning for 65 units. Now it might change slightly, but that's the baseline of what we're expecting.
Thank you.
65?
Yeah.
65. Yep, 65.
Commissioner David?
Thanks. Thank you for your presentation. Will the units be conducive to affordable housing?
Yeah, we would be part of the IZ Plus programming. So 20% of the units, which of 65 would be around 13 units, would be affordable at 60% MFI.
Does anyone else have questions? I think as people, I mean, I know because I can see who's on this call, I know there are a lot of people here who are interested in this project. So I might ask that as people come up with questions that we might have you back to understand a little more about the project. One thing I had asked, I think, is this, can you talk about how this building will be managed?
Yes.
The call at the beginning, you heard some of what some apartment buildings are on Connecticut Avenue are having, some issues. And so I think this neighborhood feels strongly about, you know, the management of a building and how well it's managed is really meaningful for how the neighborhood, how people feel safe in their homes.
Certainly. So we'll share, a 65 unit building as a standalone. It doesn't necessarily register as a building that would have on-site management. We are also the contract holder for 4422 Connecticut, which many of you know as the Burger King site. I think everybody in the city knows it as the Burger King site. So we actually have two projects, and we're looking to really make a presence here in the neighborhood. Um, Between the two, we expect to have closer to 110 units. And with that, we expect to have a much more active management approach than just, maybe what one of these buildings would be alone as a standalone, which might not necessitate or warrant full-time management on site. So between the two, I can't really comment or commit to, which building that management's going to live in, but we will have a very active presence in the neighborhood between the two properties. So hopefully that would help alleviate some of those concerns.
Thanks for breaking that exciting neighborhood news here on this exciting meeting, keeping everyone
Yeah.
interested.
Mhm.
And can you let us know, or can you give us some any more information about the Burger King property? Whatever you can tell us about what the timeline is on that, and the how sure you are that it's occurring, if that's a fair
Um,
question.
yeah, no, it's absolutely a fair question, especially in this market. We obviously everybody can see that a lot of deals are, either fall out of contract or just don't move forward because they can't be capitalized. Um, we are very committed to the project. We actually should be closing in mid-December. So once we close, we expect to be sort of all systems a go. On the Connecticut Avenue side, things will actually move quicker than here on Yuma because we don't have a map amendment process. The multifamily portion of that Burger King site. So there's two parcels. There's the Burger King site and then the parking lot that's behind it. So if you all know, like the parking lot for Zips and where the car wash comes out, for the multifamily parcel that's on Connecticut, we're pursuing our plan as a by right development. So we're going to jump straight into full on design, whereas the map amendment piece for Yuma will move a little bit slower as we work through that process. So we would hope to be in construction in really January of 2027. So we'll spend the next year essentially working through design and permitting, and we'll be pushing the pedal on that. But I don't think you'll see us on site active until early 2027.
And Colin, just to clarify, so what you're saying, sorry, it's knocked over my notes, that the Burger King parcel doesn't just include the Burger King and the old drive-through, but also the parking lot that's like sort of a T on that property that is behind basically where people pull out after you've gone through the car wash. So that will
Yeah,
be
correct.
part of your property and no longer sort of that open space and free parking zone.
Yeah, that the car wash actually currently has a lease on that space to pull, just like a monthly lease to be able to pull and do the final cleaning, detailing type work. But yes, that open space behind the property is part of the sale as well.
And do you anticipate building up to the limit of that rear property line? Because that's also adjacent to single family homes.
We don't plan to build up on that space, on that surface parking lot. We intend to use that as parking for the apartment projects.
Okay.
So we don't intend on having a structure on that lot back there.
A parking structure or parking
We
pad?
don't intend to have a structure at
Thank
all. We intend it to be a surface lot. We'll likely, we'd propose gating it, fencing, making it secured, but not like an actual parking structure.
Okay. Thank you. It's really
Of course.
makes for an exciting meeting and info. Everyone will be a buzz. Thank you. If anyone else has, I don't think anyone else has questions. I think that we're going to probably be seeing a lot of all of you guys. So, I don't know. Great.
Thanks so much.
Congratulations.
Great.
And
Yeah, thank you so much.
we wish you well, but we're going to hold you to all the things.
All the things. Yep. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Come have a boba at Whale Tea. Teresa Jang, Whale Tea stipulated license application. Commissioner Iglesias. And Teresa, hi. How are
Oh,
you?
There we
yeah,
are, Teresa.
yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Teresa Jian. I'm here tonight to apply for a liquor license for our store, the Whale Tea. And I'm very excited about the opportunity to provide a safe and enjoyable environment for our customers to enjoy alcoholic beverage besides boba. So also, tonight I have my agent, Miss Amy Solomon, here with me, and Amy can explain in details what our plan is.
Good evening, y'all. So yeah, I do run the license for Well Tea. It is going to be a tavern license. Um, so what we need is just your support letter, and we are also including the entertainment license, just like to maybe some days, and if when she have an event or anything like that, and just play a guitar or a saxophone and something like that, just a little entertainment. That's the plan.
Um, Teresa, and is your application for just beer and wine?
No, this is actually for alcohol as well, like liquor as well. It's not only beer and wine.
Why do you feel like you need the full a full liquor license?
Makes sense? Because she's be serving a cocktail, so you do need to have the license for it.
So okay. Um, and is it boba cocktails or is it a different is it like sort of along the same theme of the restaurant as it exists, or is it really like having a bar in addition to the boba?
Uh, it's going to be, I think we are going to use kind of a little bit inside the place for the bar for the liquor, and it's going to be both tea related. We have recipe to make tea related cocktail, so that's our special thing. And then also we are going to serve regular cocktail and then beer, some kind of Asian beer and Asian wine. So
And
that's why I think we need the full license.
So the setting of the restaurant or the shop, it will not be changing. It's just like the furniture rearranging, but nothing will be different from what it is right now.
and the counter will be the bar.
It will be the same according to
Yes.
Teresa. Yeah.
Commissioner David?
Thank you. And I've been enjoying Well Tea, so I appreciate you being in the community. You mentioned entertainment. Can you?
Yeah, just because anyone, if you pick up any instrument, you're gonna need to you will have to have entertainment license. Um, it's just like, if someone comes and like for open mic, for instance, and just come and
Okay.
play a guitar, and then
Okay.
you will have to have the entertainment license. And the space is not that big of, uh,
Yeah.
so you cannot have a full band or yeah.
But you will do something. You're thinking about maybe including that type of
Yeah,
arts.
Yeah.
yeah. If they
That's
have like
great.
if she have an art show and
Yeah.
someone will be singing on the background or play instrument on the background, just a small entertainment.
Or a harp.
A harp.
Yes,
Yeah.
I play harp.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that'd be great. That's a great springtime, summertime event
Yes,
to
yes.
attend. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Um, So I think my understanding of the next step, and we do have we're lucky to have Gloria Garcia here from Van Ness Main Street, but I believe the next step is what we need to do is we would have a letter of support slash settlement agreement, because I think if it's a full liquor license, that may be a different process somewhat than a letter of support, because typically I think those full liquor licenses that we've done in the past tend to have some guardrails, like for
Yeah.
example, Supremo, and I think the other restaurants that we have. So I think we would look to, um, I mean, I'm also a big fan of Loyalty, as Teresa knows. Um, uh, Big whole family fan. And those Guzmans too love boba. So um,
Grateful, grateful people.
Teresa knows how much I love her. But I think we need to have like a little bit more robust of a document, just to stipulate the entertainment, to stipulate um, beer and wine versus the full bar, and just look at that in terms of just how we've done that with other similar restaurants.
Yeah.
So I think you will see from everyone's face that we all are so happy to have your business in our neighborhood. We think it's fun, and we want to do what we can to support you. So if I think over the next week or so, Commissioner Iglesias, is that right? And Gloria, uh, Garcia, please feel free to chime in. But I think the best way to support you going forward is to create a document that lays out the settlement, and then what we can do is what we've done in the past, in terms of we'll talk to you about your timing. But what we did, for example, with Muchas Gracias last year, was we signed a letter outside of, because we don't have a meeting in December and we don't have this document written. We were able to write a letter, or a settlement agreement, and commissioners agreed to sign it outside of the time, because we don't want to disadvantage you because we don't have a December meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. Does
Appreciate
that
it.
sound good to everybody? I mean, I don't think we're in a position to vote because we don't exactly have the language that we need to have in order to have a vote. Um, And if that's not right, Claudette, do you know, like from in past, does that sound right to you? I think we need to have the language of the settlement agreement to have a vote. So what we need to do is get that language and then vote. Is that correct?
I remember us just voting, but I mean, if it's clear for you, if it's better for you to have that all in place, then you just do what's best, what you
Okay.
think is best.
And I just wanted to make sure also, if anybody, I think we would, if everyone would agree then, among us, that if, in order to move their business forward, that we would be able to sign something in December, to make sure we help you get what you need. All in agreement. That's not a formal vote, but yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Make sure you have
so,
things in your
uh,
inbox the next day or two.
great.
Yeah.
So, great. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Teresa, for being here. Thank you, Teresa, for adding your wonderful boba and your wonderful spirit to the corridor. We love having you.
Thank you. I just sat at the igloo outside, so everyone.
Oh, fun.
Yes, yes.
That's nice.
That's great. That's great. Everyone, if you haven't gone, go see her. It's great. Okay. Now we're to commission business. So I think if anyone has a particular update, you can think about that while Commissioner Guzman gives her treasurer's report.
I hope all the commissioners were able to review the two documents that I sent to you. One was the October monthly treasurer's report, The other was the Q4 25 QFR. So we will have to pass motions to approve those separately. But before I do that, does anybody have any questions about any of the numbers or the entries on either one of those documents?
I'd like to reiterate, as always, I feel that there's a lot to the treasurer job, and we see that every time we look at these reports and what's required for them. So I thank you for putting in that work.
You're welcome. I have no idea how Commissioner Baer did this before because I've just been learning by trial and error. But anyway, getting better, getting better. So I'd like to make a motion. Actually, do you know what? New OANC rules. We do not have to approve the monthly treasurer's reports. Those are just provided to the commission for FYI purposes. But I would like to make a motion to approve the Q4 fiscal year 2025 QFR as was presented. Is there a
So
second?
moved.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
In favor. I think I have to say that.
Oh, you're supposed to say it? Sorry. See,
So,
I'm like messing everything up. Who elected me?
we did. Please don't stop doing it. You
I'm just kidding.
may not step down from this role. Unless someone else wants to do it. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry.
And I will also say that Commissioner Guzman also there's a lot of rules that have changed. And there was an entirely new training and a lot to learn. And she spent a lot of time getting up to speed with OANC this month. So again, thank you for that extra time on top of all the other stuff you got to do. All right, good.
You're
Now,
welcome. Yes,
Commissioner
good.
updates. I think Commissioner David, did you have an update?
Yeah, I just wanted to let everyone know about the emergency rental assistance program that opens up on November 20th, and you can call 202-507-6666. Thank you.
Great. Anyone else? I mean, that's not great. Sorry. It's not great, but it's great that that's a resource that's provided. And thank you very much for sharing that. That's really important. Um, anyone else? I'm going to remind the gathered participants that ANC3F does not meet in December. I feel like people are going to be really upset about that. But never fear, we will be back in January. And the tentative date for that is January the 13th, so that we don't have too long of a break. I'd like to move that we approve the November 2025 meeting minutes.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's all commissioners present. And now I'd like to move that we adjourn the meeting and our last meeting of 2025.
So moved.
Everyone's going to jump up and down in favor. I'm sorry we got through another year without having a commissioner dog showing, which what we were going to do. I know. I failed you yet again. Thank you everyone for your participation. We are not meeting in December, but we are here and open for questions, feedback, and we will still be doing all the work. So thanks everybody. Have a wonderful holiday and Happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
Yep.